Subtle movement on the serve, drops the racket just below the ball as he crosses past on the pendulum serve. Ooh, what a save! Dima with that wide wingspan keeps the ball in play. A wider shot to the forehand. Let's look at this one more time. That's the save. And this one comes back way wide. A lot of pressure for Matsudaira to keep that in play. Bold long serve. Right to the baseline in the corner on the backhand side. Almost saves it. A lot of power from Matsudaira in near the net, backing Dima off the table. Now, as we saw yesterday, Dima can still be dangerous when he's off the table. All it takes is one fishing shot deep on the table. Next thing you know, he's got a counter backhand that's as strong as anybody's. But fooled here. Starting to cover the forehand side. Matsudaira changes up the placement, earns the point. Tie it up here as we come into the first towel break, dead even. It's funny how memory can be so tricky, but it still feels to me like Dima's winning this game already. He's winning the match. Score-wise, we'll tell you that there is no favorite, dead even. And this also just goes to show you that a point is a point, whether it's a push rally, a block, or a ripping 40 counter loops forehand to forehand. Psychologically, might affect you differently, but it's still all worth 1 point. It's always very peculiar to me from that camera angle. And the ball needs to be above the table at all times, as long as it's behind the white line when it's presented and above the table. From the toss to the contact. Nice look again at a pendulum serve. Stefan Fagel has some interesting motions. Incredible power. Matsudaira all over Dimitrij Ovtcharov, just ripping it back into the backhand corner, jamming him up in the body. On the run, the footwork is tested. The sliding shot there from Matsudaira, beautiful execution. The reason I brought up Stefan Fagel's serves in the after motion is because it seems that Kenta Matsudaira has some similar habits on his pendulum serve. To drop the racket a little bit, subtle sort of misdirection, the after motion, to make it confusing for the receiver. Now, throughout this tournament, as we get into the second towel break, just a reminder, Dimitrij Ovtcharov has fought back so many times in this tournament. He was down against Kirill Skachkov, against Elias Ranafor, and against Quadri Aruna. Was able to recover. So when the start hasn't been as strong, but has definitely finished the matches in his favor. It reminds me of when I talked to Timo Boll after beating Tomokazu Harimoto in China this year at the China Open. Timo said he wasn't too concerned about the first game, just sort of wanted to feel out Tomokazu Harimoto, get a sense of his game, what type of tactics he would use. So he loses game one and then wins the next four. Love that explosive backhand from Kenta Matsudaira. Really not too many players play their backhand like that. That sort of Krianga-like full swing from the side of the body to way out in front. Good read on the heavy backspin. And the Matsudaira lifting now has 5 game points to take the first game in what was dead even at the first towel break. Ooh, tries to pull a Shushin in a full spin there. Looked like he earned himself the opportunity. Soft touch, keeps it in near the table. Still 4 game points left. shots. I mean, I don't know, for tournament players, we've all experienced that where you get a little bit comfortable early on and you think you have a little wiggle room to mess around or get a little fancy. Next thing you know, a few game point opportunities have been lost. You start to sweat, the pressure starts to build, and you regret your decisions from before. But still 3 game points for Kenta Matsudaira. One more game point save, 3rd towel break of the game, and Dima's within 2, and he has 2 serves right here on his racket. Both players quite strong in the service game. Haven't seen a lot of that backhand serve where Dima gets low. Get ready for it. A warning, serve below the table. There it is. That's interesting. The crowd applauds it. The crowd applauds it. Awesome for the umpire. Trick shot fools him. Starts leading him out to the forehand, and as soon as he starts to move, hits it behind his body weight. Look at this one more time. Oh, the head fake too from Dima. It's subtle, but it pays off. Saves a game point. Wow, that's close. Looks below the table from here. Oh, just missing off the edge of the racket. Incredible point. The counters there from Dima. 3 or 4 shots in a row I couldn't believe came back. And finally, it's the softer shot from Matsudaira where he takes the pace off the ball and leaves it out in front of Dima that wins him the point. What a game 1. Wow, from 10-5 to 11-9. Match has just begun and Kenta Matsudaira is in the lead. We'll be back for game 2 just after this. Slow clap starts to speed up. The crowd quite thrilled so far by this match that has already been just spectacular. What a way to finish for Kenta Matsudaira. Remember at 10-5, he did that full spin on the backhand side of the table. Tried to finish the game a little bit fancy and almost ended up facing deuce in game 1. Very curious if we're going to see a service fault, if we're going to see a call on Dima's serve. Again, even after being warned, it looked like it was quite close and questionable. Oh, burned! The strong forehand flip kill and well anticipated. Kenta Matsudaira brings it right back to the open table down the middle. Look one more time. He's jumping to get that back in play. No chance for Dima on this last one. He must feel that there's a strong advantage to that backhand serve because he's already been warned. It's interesting. I guess we'll talk about it if we see it come up again, but at that last moment, right before Dima tosses the ball, his hand does drop about an inch or so before he just tosses the ball up in the air. I think that's something that players aren't always aware of. Well played to the elbow again. Dima is a taller player, has a bigger middle. Should be a sweet spot for Kenta Matsudaira to attack. The wide wings, Dima should be able to cover much better. We've seen so many times throughout this tournament what happens when you try to play it wide to Dima's backhand. How confident he is to counter back. Strong start for Kenta Matsudaira. 5 points earned, not a point dropped yet. Struggle here for Dima. But remember, he's been down and he's come back every single match. Powered right down the middle of the table for his first point. Nice way to go to the towel box. Score-wise, not so much, but last point-wise, couldn't ask for much more. High toss pendulum. Surprises Matsudaira. I think this might be the second time we've seen the reverse tomahawk serve, and for some reason the camera doesn't seem to show it. We'll probably go back to traditional tomahawk. And he does. That's been a quite safe and quite successful serve for him. Perfect placement right behind him into the body on the backhand side. Dima coming back in. 3 points in a row from down 0-5. Break off the top of the net and the streak continues. 4 points in a row for Dima to come back in. Regardless of who you want to win this match, as a sports fan, chances are good you'd love to see this end in Game 7. Just amazing how many quality matches have shown up at this tournament. On Dima's side, every match he's played has been spectacular. Excellent block, moves quickly to cover the backhand corner and keep it deep on the table into the body of Matsudaira. Not just getting the ball in play, but look at the placement there. That forces Matsudaira to take a rushed shot from an uncomfortable position. Again, placement of blocks, so important, especially with a fast shot coming in. From below the table, Dima with that ripping backhand. 7 points in a row. I mean, this was starting to look like a blowout. We come into the second towel break. Dima down 0-5, now up 7-5. From below the table on the backhand side. You won't hear that about too many players. I'm impressed. It looked like Dima was concentrating a little bit on trying not to draw the fault, keeping the ball above the table. That can often distract a player, cause them to lose a little bit of focus. Serve loose. Ball looks like it's halfway. See him drop. Fault called. That's the right call. As Dima's friend and Dima's fan, he plays so much table tennis, and he doesn't get called on this, so I can understand that he's disappointed, but you saw it up close. That's the right call. And the crowd applauds it. Dips the ball at the very last moment. Even when he's holding it, you can only see the top half of the ball. Granted, the camera angle's a little bit down, but then he dips. I mean, the assistant umpire has a much better view. His head is very close to table level. He's got a clean look at the hand. Umpires don't want to interfere with the game at all. Just try to keep it fair for both players. Beautiful angle. Dima almost runs it down. As far as the roller coaster that this match has become, actually has been since Game 1. Dima got 8 points in a row from down 0-5. A fairly called service fault. Kenta Matsudaira plays it wide out. Now this timeout here for Dima, I think it's a very wise timeout from his coach, Chun Hong-yu. It's very easy to get distracted and lose your focus when you've lost a point. And I had a feeling there would be a service fault as soon as the umpire called the warning. That's his way of saying, look, I see something happening that shouldn't be happening. Please correct it. Shouldn't happen again. I don't want to punish you, but if you continue to do it. So, it happened, and now coach is doing his job to make sure that Dima stays focused and calm, plays to his skill sets. You can see him coughing a lot out there still. But that's been happening every match, and against Quadri Aruna in Game 7, it's one of the best matches I've seen from Dima since his match against Fan Zhendong. With that infamous ball crack, Dima's up 2-0 deuce. Fan Zhendong hits a ball that cracks the ball in half. If I remember correctly, it's split in two. They replayed the point. Dima ends up losing that game. That's the way it happens, right? I mean, it's tough. Doing their best to play fair, no biased decisions. Outstanding play from Dima behind the table. The counter attacks, the backhand rips. He extends his lead to 9-7. And to cover that forehand side with the backhand, partially his grip helps that a lot. But as a taller player, that's the much more efficient stroke. Quicker to recover from. Strong play, he's fired up and now has 3 game points to tie up the score at 1 game apiece. Goes for the big counter backhand, but it's Dimitrij Ovtcharov who not only survives, but takes game 2 to tie it up at 1 game apiece. We'll see who takes the lead in game 3. Again, things starting to heat up. What a thrilling match. Game 3 coming up right after this. Back for game number 3, Dimitrij Ovtcharov winning game 2 11-7 after losing game 1 11-9. Checking for a cracked ball here, Kenta Matsudaira. Usually it's Dima who takes the look, and the inspector comes over, Dr. Dima. See that? See that? We're gonna need to make an incision right here. Doctor, what do you think? Yep. Sounds good. Let's get a new body out here for that ball. Ball transplant, successful. Dima using his sweaty shirt to dry it off. We've often seen him put the ball in his mouth. A lot of players do that actually in the call area when they're choosing the balls that they want to use for the match. I think Dima's the only one who does it on the TV table though. So it feels a bit like a signature move for him. Players have been doing that for decades and decades though. A tradition that Dima keeps alive. Game 3 to start here with Kenta Matsudaira's serve. Good start here for Dima, considering last game he lost the first 5 points. Still managed to come back and take the game. 8-point streak after that. Look at this angle. Dima tucks the wrist and comes all the way around the forehand side and waits to see where Matsudaira goes. There's the pinky up touch shot. And he gets the racket straight up over the table with the wrist turned back and plays it wide. Man, this match has been fascinating. Kenta Matsudaira up 10-5 in game 1. I mean, it's easy to think about the future and start to think, wow, is Kenta Matsudaira in that solid of form? Is he going to win in 4 straight? And then in a moment, game 2, he's up 5-0, and Dima comes all the way back and now is leading 4-0 to start this off. This is so unpredictable. Really, this is what makes sports so exciting. You just really don't know what's going to happen from moment to moment. Matsudaira gets thrown into the fishing game. Not thrilled, goes for the backhand from below the table like we saw Dima do successfully last game. This answer works. Second time we saw that serve, the shovel serve short to the forehand side, getting ready for the third ball cross court. Matsudaira quick to break out step and play it deep back to the forehand side. First towel break of the game, Dima leading 5-1. I forgot the reasoning between the blue towel, white towel. There is some meaning there. It's not completely random for Dima. Oh, finally a shot out of reach. What impressive blocking from Matsudaira in the backhand court. And more than just blocks, he's punching him back. He's giving aggressive blocks, and Dima finally changes it up down the line. He's able to pivot and turn so quickly. I mean, you really need that. If you have to do it slowly, your opponent's going to be waiting there for a forehand rip shot the opposite way. Ooh, look at that ball. Catches the edge of the racket. It just makes me nervous. I don't love the confrontation. But he could very well be faulted again. Dima could be faulted for that serve. Look at this shot again, bending out to the forehand side. The fact that he's able to hit it just in that very narrow margin down the line, but with side spin on it as well, that's devastating. That's crazy. Just testing the fast footwork and the leg strength of Kenta Matsudaira. Disconnects there with that last forehand, ball slipping off the forehand. Matsudaira using a bit of side spin on that backhand as well. See that one again, right to the middle. This is Koki Niwa style out here. So much side spin left on that. Probably a bit of underspin as well. He just comes through it and breaks the wrist at the ball. Looked like the backhand side of the racket. But a nasty ball to leave for Dima. Notice he pulled it up just a little bit. Oh, 2 bounces on the table. Look at this touch. Under pressure. Sees Dima back behind the table. Watch one more time, flips the opposite way. Racket head up just very softly. Loosens up the grip on the racket. Second bounce on the table. I mean, we know he's got power. We've seen rips from Kenta Matsudaira, and still he's down 3-9 against Dima. But to play a shot like that so calm and cool, such a high pressure situation. After all, this is far from practice. This is the men's singles final on the World Tour. 2 forehands in a row, the second one more out to the forehand side. This is smart play. Remember, Dima is able to cover the elbow with the backhand more as a tall player, so he's going to be inclined to move that way, which means Matsudaira is going to have to play it a little bit more out to the forehand side, and he does. Well placed, Dima gets in early in the point, deep on the table to the forehand, and it earns him 6 game points. Wiping the sweat from the palm on the table. Tomahawk serve here. Excellent over the table play. Dima gets in to finish it 11-4. The most dominant game we've seen yet. We'll see what Kenta Matsudaira comes back with. He's down 1-2. Game 4 coming up right after this. Back for game number 4, Dimitrij Ovtcharov cleaning the table, also leading 2-1 right now over Japan's Kenta Matsudaira. The Matsudaira brother who made it this far. Kenji Matsudaira with a very strong tournament as well. But again, it was another Kenta who brought him down. Kenta Tazoe slayed Kenji Matsudaira. A very, very exciting match nonetheless. One of many. 2017 Ovtcharov Bulgaria Open filled with thrills. Whew. I really wonder, I mean, the umpires, their assistant umpire in this case, whoever has the better view, trying not to get involved, trying not to interfere. You know, it's never popular to call a fault on somebody. You have to wonder how much hesitation there is to call it if they see it. Matsudaira tying it up here. So much better start than the last game. Big opening backhand from Dima. What's this? Service warning? A little bit unclear about what happened. Either way, the player's back and ready quickly. Kenta Matsudaira actually deals with, I'd say, I don't know, calls or controversy very, very well. He's an incredibly calm, kind guy. Right after that, we see one of the biggest expressions of disappointment we've seen from him, but he turns it into let's jog around, get ready for the next point. Fast, long serve into the backhand side. Matsudaira normally will take a bigger swing at that shot. Oh, look at this combination. Fast out to the backhand side and one way wide to the forehand. Shotgun, set him up, knock him down. These are 2 shots in a row that are so quick. And this is exactly what we were talking about before, how he takes a bigger backhand typically when he has the opening. So thinking about the point before, I think he wasn't going to let himself repeat that mistake. Much more assertive, positive play in the opening receive, the opening shot. Excellent counter loop rally, the edge of the racket, the ball will not come down. Inspector Dima looking for a crack. He's going to show it here to Kenta Matsudaira. Kenta says, sure, no problem. Now, something I don't think I've ever seen, but I think would be very interesting. Typically, you know, you have to imagine Kenta Matsudaira does see it, that he's being honest as opposed to just being agreeable. But what if Dima comes over to you to show you the ball and says, see right here, and you're like, oh, I don't think that's a crack. I think it's just a line on the ball. Discoloration, a scratch. I think we've all played with balls that have a mark that looks like a crack from far away, but maybe is just a scratch or discoloration. It'd be very interesting to see that. But again, both players not looking to focus on things outside of what it takes to win the match. Don't want to get distracted. So new ball into play here. Dima actually knows the details of the equipment quite well. He's practicing so hard for so long. So when it comes to specifics, Dima's your guy. Just overcompensating a little bit for a spinny shot from Matsudaira. So this is where Matsudaira stopped scoring in game 3. It was an 11-4 victory for Dima. Fast shot from Dima with the backhand. Kenta Matsudaira was making some excellent shots in this rally from the backhand corner. Watch him use the forehand there. Covers the body coming across the chest with that abbreviated stroke. Just too fast from Dima for the follow-up attack. Oh, just missing. That side spin shot from way off the table. Kenta Matsudaira can fish, can lob, can do all sorts of stuff, and even counter from way behind the table. But instead of going for the counter, leaves an awkward side spin ball there that if it comes down, it's still going to be tough to win that point against Dima. Matsudaira creeping back in. As both players clean the top sheet of rubber, make sure no dust is on there. Want to make sure they have full traction for every spin shot, full control of the ball. To get a serve receive like that, to earn that third ball and not take the point, you can understand the frustration for Matsudaira and the excitement from Dima to get out of this point. Dima knew he was in trouble, immediately had to back off the table. Goes into submission, into the defensive position for a moment, at least backing off the table to allow himself space. Second towel break of the game, Dima leading by 2. Notice how loose the grip is on the racket for Dima when he comes into that backhand serve. It allows him a lot of flexibility in the wrist, a lot of whip action to get a heavy spin, fast, long serve. And this one comes a little bit too loose. A very confident opening attack from Kenta Matsudaira. Still not easy. But Matsudaira pushes himself to make sure he makes an outstanding receive on a ball that comes along. The Dima cough there. So this is the time. Kenta Matsudaira does not want to be down 1-3 against Dima. That has not been the case for anybody here. Just short, top of the net and out. Matsudaira's counter. He's had a few big opportunities here that could change the score drastically. And this is not an easy ball. He's trying for the short side of the table, a high-risk shot. That's what happens. The percentages drop a little with those high-risk shots. 2-point differential now. Dima going back to that serve that was in question. Oh, nice play. A soft block from Dima, and it sits up just a little bit too high. That's the chance for Matsudaira to come back in. Recognizes it immediately, catches the ball on its way down, but that was the best opportunity he had. Dima tried to touch it softly and leave it out in front. I guess he did that, but Matsudaira still cleaned up. Nice placement down the line, changing it up again, turning and twisting quickly. Looked like it would have been obvious to go the other way. See him wrap around the ball, bring it in near the left shoulder for his after stroke there. Turning point right here, it could be. Third towel break of the game, dead even at 9 points each. And if Matsudaira takes this game, feeling we're in it for the long haul. That being said, Kenta Matsudaira came back against Ugo Calderano. Last year, I believe it was Austria. Big point here for Dima, the backhand out wide. He's used that backhand so well over the table, behind the table, under the table. The thumb up in the middle of the racket. His grips often change between forehand and backhand. Still generates so much racket speed with that wrist. Oh, the soft touch shot. He used it against Quadriruna twice in Game 7, and he uses it out here at game point against Kenta Matsudaira to take a 3-1 lead. What touch, what skill out here from Dima. Very versatile and important play to take the game. We'll be back for game number 5 coming up right after this. Players come back for game number 5. Kenta Matsudaira out at the table before Dima, folding up his towel methodically. Dima leading 3-1 by a very narrow margin in that last game, sneaking it out from 9-9. Matsudaira has his work cut out for him. Squatting to the ground after that last forehand. Nice change of pace throughout from Matsudaira, but it's the forehand with power that finishes the point. Testing Dima again to try and bring him in and out a little bit. Play a shot from out in front. Oh, look at this surprise! He had covered the forehand before. He blocked one back from Dima. Dima goes right back down the line. Very aggressive to get him up on 1 foot and still sneak it past him, keep it just out of reach. Still just so impressed thinking about Dima's down the line backhands. I mean, punching it down the line we see, yes. Backhand rips down the line, loops down the line. Jang Ji-ko at his best was doing this. Tries for the wide angle, a little bit late to get in. Tough ball. Definitely a limited time offer, and he caught it a little bit late. Going for that big backhand swing. Dima checking for a break, but there's nothing. That is reasonable whenever someone catches it off the edge of the racket to have a look just in case. You don't want to be on the bad end of losing a point because the ball's cracked slightly. Again, the speed. Remember, it still feels like Dima's winning this game probably for the same reason I was excited about that down the line backhand. So impressive. But they're dead even. 3 points apiece. Deceptive underspin on the pendulum serve. And the timeout here for Kenta Matsudaira. Understandable. Coach Tase Kunihito in the corner, who we see on the World Tour quite a lot. Again, Japan, the most participating nation on the World Tour. On the women's side of the game in this tournament, they had the last 16 exclusively for Japan. And they earned it. Georgina Pota, Matilda Ekholm both knocked out despite their strong seedings. Try to look through and see where that happened real quickly. In the very first round, Georgina Pota got beaten by Asuka Sasao, who had quite a strong tournament, beating Maki Shiomi after that as well, and only losing to Kasumi Ishikawa. In terms of Matilda Ekholm, just because I'm curious and I thought you might be as well, Miyu Maeda. Big win for Miyu Maeda, who then lost to her very close friend Sakura Mori in the next round. But what's it going to take for Kenta Matsudaira? Down 3-4 right now on the receive. I think it's going to come a lot down to serve and receive, as it often does. This is one way. Kenta Matsudaira has shown us a few times when he recognizes the ball's coming off the table that he's a force not to mess with. That opening forehand attack is strong, and he's got a ripping backhand too. The question is, how comfortable is he with it near the table? Oh, just missing the contact. Tries to keep it short on the forehand side. Looked like it snuck up and got him in the hand. Again, that was the sound of Dima being thrilled to get out of that point. Knew he was a little bit tough position. It's interesting that left pant leg, the left short leg, seems to be rolled up. I don't think that's a coincidence or an accident. Saw a picture of us recently where his left pant leg, just while he was hanging out in the lobby, was the same, up higher than the right by quite a bit. Some people do the same thing with their sleeves. Whatever makes them more comfortable out here on the court. Excellent spinny shot. Matsudaira does not go for the kill or the drive. Just plays a slower spinny shot. Again, it's all relative. Still relatively fast, but a whole lot of spin on it. Nice change of pace to take the point. Serve-wise, there was a time where we saw a lot of shovel serves short to the forehand side. Then Kenta would move out wide. Clever idea to try and play it out to the forehand running around the corner, but that's a lot of pressure coming in from Dima. And again, with the wide wingspan of Dima, if he reaches, let's say this ball comes down, the forehand attack here, if Dima reaches that, he's got the whole opposite side of the table to hit. Excellent power and a wide angle for Matsudaira, keeps it even at 7. Commits to turn the corner, and Kenta still plays it, just tries to play it wide as possible into the backhand without missing the table. Says, I'll take your forehand, I'm ready for the counter back to the other side of the table. Really closed on that. You could see him wrap over the ball and come down. Sometimes that's a way to just hit it a little more spinny with not quite as much forward drive so that the ball doesn't reach. Perfect placement into the body. Dima does not go the obvious wide forehand. You get a ball high enough to do this, into the body is the way to go. Unless you're sure you can hit it out of reach. Sneaks it past him with the backhand near the table, that is. Dima just 2 points away from taking a big title here. It would be his 3rd this year. Platinum Series, 2 World Tour regular events. He's got India, he's got China. Can he get Bulgaria? Oh! The windshield wiper attack, complete 180 like a rainbow. Kenta Matsudaira going to the ground. Look at how much side spin is on this ball. I saw Ma Long do this once before. It's very rare to see a shot with so much side spin. That ball would have hit him in the chest if he didn't move the upper body. The crowd's still applauding it. Get ready to rewatch that one all over the ITTF Facebook page and in the highlights reel. Just brilliant, spectacular play from Matsudaira. But it doesn't faze Dima. A big opening shot for Matsudaira right after that crazy windshield wiper rainbow shot. And now it is one game, match, and championship point for the King of Europe, Dimitrij Ovtcharov. Dima does it, Dima does it, Dima does it! The hands in the air, he takes them down. What a performance throughout this entire tournament. Dimitrij Ovtcharov has thrilled the crowd, and in a very tight Game 5, manages to hold back Kenta Matsudaira. Remember, Dimitrij Ovtcharov loses Game 1. He was down 5-10 and manages to come back winning the next 4 games straight. What a performance. A good handshake with Coach Tase Kunihito. Mutual respect for the players and the coaches. But it's Chun Hong Yu, the personal coach for Dimitrij Ovtcharov right now, who gets the biggest hug of them all. Together they have done it. Coach and player, what a day, and the smiles finally come out. We saw Dima after beating Quadri Aruna, and he didn't look even remotely happy for a moment, just reviewing his game and his mistakes possibly. But here it is all smiles, his job is well done. What a great day in the office for Dima.